I'm 20 years old and I'm from Brisbane, Australia. And I'm currently studying a Bachelor of Classical Music at the Queensland Conservatorium. And other than that, I run a music school. And the reason, what led me to run a music school was when I graduated from high school a few years ago, I noticed that when I was working under a lot of different people in the music industry, and when I was teaching at different schools, a lot of the teachers underpaid their staff, and the staff weren't treated very nicely, and a lot of the people who ran the schools, they didn't know a lot about music, and therefore a lot of the students who came to the schools didn't quite get the education that they were paying for. And I saw this issue and I decided that I would like to do what I could to fix it. And upon starting my music school, I noticed that a lot of kids with disabilities inquired, and that got me thinking, are there not as many opportunities for people with disabilities to learn music, and maybe that's not something that's encouraged. So I looked into that as well, and I found that this is the case, and so I looked into hiring people who can properly educate people with disabilities, and how we can relate that to music and give them equal opportunities as well. Some of the big challenges that I faced with the school is, the fact that I'm quite young compared to, a lot of other people who run businesses or schools or, companies. And I found that a lot of people have judged me or underestimated me because of my age. I've also found that, business in itself is quite a male-dominated industry. And as a woman, I've often... I've been the only woman in a lot of situations, in the room talking about business, and I think that it'd be really nice to get more women into the arts and more women into business. And my big piece of advice on how to overcome that, how I overcame that, is being secure in myself. I educated myself on business. I knew that the reason that I was in the room with these people is because I deserved to be there, and I'd worked just as hard as they had to be there. And I didn't doubt myself. If I ever had a question, I would ask one, or if I ever didn't understand something, I would learn about it. And before I jumped into a topic or jumped into the deep end, I would make sure I educated myself on it, so I didn't make any mistakes. I think making mistakes is something that happens to everyone, but I think educating yourself on a subject or a topic before you jump into the industry is incredibly imperative. So you can minimize mistakes. There's this myth that careers such as STEM careers, law, engineering, maths, there's that myth that they're more valued and they contribute more to society, but I completely disagree, because I think that with the arts, we rely on them in ways that we don't even think about. We take a lot of the arts for granted, particularly if we think about the pandemic that we've just been in. A lot of us spent being in lockdown, we spent it reading books, or watching TV shows or movies, or listening to music, and without the arts, you wouldn't have any of that. So when you think about the pandemic we've just been in, imagine if we didn't have, any of that to get us through it. And, when you think about the arts, you need artists to help people who, study maths and study engineering. The people that write the books, they're artists. And I think that, the arts are some of the oldest parts of human culture to date, if not the oldest. And they're a great reflection on not only our past, but also, what will become of us in the future. We can look at the ways that, we see, music and art evolving throughout time, and we can use that to predict the future based on the trends of humans in the past. And that's not something that we can do with, you know, STEM subjects such as engineering, you know, law and maths. And that's not to say that they're less important, it's just saying that each subject in each area is of equal importance and can equally contribute to society in different ways. Growing up, I always very much valued education. My mum, I remember she taught me to read, and she always she always encouraged reading all the time. We used to have this book chart, and you know, it'd be a list of books that we wanted to read, and we'd see how many we could finish in a week. And you know, when I was quite young, I used to read to my sister in bed. We were surrounded by books. We always read, and I think that, you know, books are the best way, you know, to educate yourself. And I value education so much because without it, I wouldn't be where I am. And I'm still educating myself because I have goals and ambitions for the future, which I can't do without reading and without educating myself. I have a lot to keep track of at the moment. You know, I'm in university, I'm running a business, you know, and I'm entering, you know, my 20s. I have a lot of different goals and ambitions that I'm looking forward to, and I want to do a lot of different things with my life. And a big way that I keep track of it, I've made a lot of mistakes. I've had to learn how to manage it, and it's taken a few tries, but the main way that I like to manage myself is I have a calendar and I have a list of reminders, which is like my to-do list. And I know myself, and I know I'm a pretty forgetful person. That's just who I am, and I've got to learn how to manage it. And the way I manage it so that I don't forget anything is by, you know, writing everything down. I write everything down. If I have any thoughts, if I have anything that I need to remind myself that I need to do, I will write it down, and I will tell myself that I need to get it done by a particular date, and that's how I manage my time. I think my biggest piece of advice for tracking progress and managing time is to know yourself, because different routines don't, particular routines don't fit everyone. You know, there are routines that people who remember a lot of things use that wouldn't work for me because I'm a pretty forgetful person. But I learnt myself, and I created a routine that worked for me, and that's why, forgetfulness isn't a problem for me anymore, as an example. How would I rate my current mental health state? I think ever since starting the business, I will say that it's stressful. You know, I've got a lot to manage. I've got university and I've got a business as well, and it's stressful. But once I learned how to manage my time, my mental health improved a lot. So a main thing that I do is there is a period of time every day which I allocate to myself, and it's right before bed, and I don't spend any time thinking about the business, I don't spend any time thinking about uni. I just sit in bed and I'll be reading a book, or I'll watch a movie, or I might not do any of that. I might listen to music, or I might just sit there and think about, maybe say a place I want to travel to, or I don't know, a goal I have in the future which isn't related to business or university, but that period of time right before I go to sleep is my period of time, and I just use it to relax and to chill and to think about what I think about. And I don't want to let university or a business run my mind all the time, because that will stress me out, and all of a sudden my life isn't mine anymore and it's a bit out of control. So definitely allocating periods of time in my day to just relax and not let things stress me out, no matter what current situation I'm in. My biggest achievement to date would probably be winning a Pause Award. And so a Pause Award is a business award. It's an international business award, and what it was, it was the Young Prodigy Award. So I just won an award for running a business as a very, very young person. And I was up against quite a few different competitors from quite a few different companies, and they were all very wonderful competitors. They had some really, really cool ideas and some really successful companies. It was my biggest achievement because it was the thing that I actually believed I didn't have a chance at. You know, I applied for it, and I remember applying for it and thinking, I have no chance of winning this, you know, but I just applied for it because, you know, I had nothing to lose. You know, the worst that they could say was no. And I remember getting through to the finals and thinking, whoa, like I didn't even check the finals list because I hadn't think I'd won a final spot until I got an email and they said, oh, you're a finalist. And I was like, oh, this is incredible. I didn't think I'd even make it this far. And I definitely didn't think I'd win. And so that's probably my biggest achievement, and not because of the competitors or the demographic, but because I surprised myself and I, shocked myself, and that felt really good. And that's probably why it's my biggest achievement, because I exceeded my own expectations. My biggest piece of advice for youth regarding, following your dreams, and, realizing that you're an important voice, I think, as a member of youth myself, I think that the voices of the youth really, really have the opportunity to completely change the world, and we're a massive, massive demographic, and we all have very powerful voices, and I think together we are much more powerful than we realize, and I think that if we all educate ourselves, and if we can all come together and encourage each other to be ambitious and to think outside the box, and to encourage each other to make goals and educate each other, we can really change the course of the world. I think we pay attention to a lot of the issues that really matter, which is great, and I think we're very self-aware, and we need to encourage other people to be self-aware, and because we're such a large group of people, we can really make a massive impact. And my advice to people who would like to pursue a career in the arts, everyone told me in high school, I remember this, everyone told me that, when I said that I wanted to do music, they'd say, you're going to make no money from music. Why would you do that? Why would you, go into a career you're not going to make any money in? It's, so many people end up dropping out, or, no one makes it. Don't listen to the things that other people say. If you listen to the things that other people say, then you're letting them run your life. And that's something that I had to work hard to overcome, but I feel so much more free now that I don't listen to the things that other people say. Do what you love. If you love, if you love the arts, and you love the idea of a career in the arts, then go for it. Do a career in the arts. I did that, and I could not be happier with where I am at the moment. And I only have goals in the future to get more involved in the arts, despite what everyone has said to me. And from here, I plan on definitely expanding my school as big as I possibly can, and I have a few ideas in the business to release, potentially a book series in the future, an app for the business potentially in the future. I'm always coming up with these crazy ideas, and I'm pitching them to my team, and I go, what do you think? And they'll be like, Maya, that's a lot, or they'll be like, no, I think we can do this, and here's how we can. And so one of my biggest strengths, I would say, is thinking up these crazy, insane, ambitious ideas and pitching them to people, and and they'll tell me what they think. And if it's crazy and out of the box, their first reaction might be, well, that's a lot, but then they'll scale it down and they'll think, okay, let's talk about how we can achieve that. And so from here, that's what I'd like to do, really grow my business, graduate uni, move overseas, definitely, and see what happens from there. Thanks very much.